Welcome, Capricorn, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and a zodiac forecast for week commencing the 11th of May for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Going to share with you the big themes of the week ahead first, then on screen, the event chart on Monday. Always provides an influential backdrop. I'll then go through each of the influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture by the end of the video of what you can expect in terms of energy, work, relationships, and finance. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. Every so often, Capricorn, a week will come along that's an absolute crackerjack, but in a positive way. And this is the week for you. I truly can't wait to share it with you. But it will have also some shadow, not least right at the start of the week. There is a little bit of an edgy link between the moon and Uranus, but not something you can't get beyond. But by the end of the week, after a fabulous new moon in your sister Earth sign of Taurus, where the sun's meeting the moon in its exaltation, we do have Mercury, the planet of communication, darting into one of its two home signs of Gemini and linking with Uranus. And that could be intriguing as well. So on the screen is your event chart. Let's just first of all look at the position of the sun. So the sun for the last 20 days has been in the sign of Taurus. Taurus, very much about practicalities. It's ruled by Venus. It has an innate appreciation of quality and can be quite sensuous. And also, it can be about our everyday finance. Now, for you, the fifth house can be about being more speculative, but also it can be about having fun. And the sun here can be quite joyful. But what we've also got at the start of the week is the sun in a perfect link with Jupiter, the planet of opportunity and good fortune within your sector of relationships. And that's a lovely 60-degree angle, which can provide a lot of uplift. Now, Jupiter in the water sign of Cancer is exalted itself and has been giving you the chance to work on learning more about the emotional dimension of relationships over the last 11 months. Doesn't mean to say it's always flowed in your direction, but I think the learnings, because Jupiter can be about knowledge, have been considerable. And even if you haven't felt that you've met the person or had the best of connections with certain people during that time, it's what insights you've gained. But that can all come back to you this week, because whether it's meeting up with friends to do something fun and pleasurable, whether it's fifth house can be about your children if you've got them, if it's linking up with another parent and sharing some playtime with those kids, that can also prove to be uplifting. But if you are someone who's very, very creative, one of the things that that link with Jupiter can do is create an environment where people are much more receptive to your brilliance, ideas, and talent. And therefore, your charisma can burn brightly this week. But what about that brief, edgy link, that bit of shadow that I told you about? Well, right at the start of the week, the moon's in the third house, but in the very sensitive Pisces, but forges a very brief link with Uranus in a square. It actually happened late on Sunday night. So maybe you just felt a little bit agitated by a detail. It should have cleared by early on Monday, but really enter this week with a real gusto. If there are weeks to take action and be positive and dynamic, this is the one for you. But Mercury can be quite mischievous and a bit playful in the fifth house in a lovely way. But of course, the sign of Taurus can be about earthy considerations. It's about practicalities, about whatever we do does have some kind of functional outcome. You appreciate that more than anyone. So even if you're doing something enjoyable and playful, you may still want to make it create something that has some value. And the link between the Sun and Jupiter may start the good vibes, but Mercury joins in, linking with the sextile with Jupiter too. Now, Mercury can be very much about marketing, and Jupiter can be about trade. So if you're talking to someone about a potential contract, having an interview or a discussion about a business idea you've got, you can really showcase it in a very passionate but persuasive way, but also make sure the details make sense in so far as it's not just an idea, it's not just a principle. You can put forward something that is very, very workable indeed. But at the heart of this week, the Sun and Mercury combine in a cazimi. That's when another planet joins with the Sun in an exact unison. The Sun's raw power and magnificence pours its energy into the other player. So you're going to be even more on the ball at the heart of this week. Your mind can be crisp, but also, as I say, amusing in the way that you express yourself. But that brings us to Saturday's new moon. It's a new moon where Mercury's still in the mix and Jupiter too, but it's a new moon that's really encouraging you to have the confidence to step into the sun. Being a Capricorn, one of the archetypes I really dislike for your sign is that, you're very dour. Actually, Capricorns usually have a brilliant sense of fun, particularly as you get older. Yes, you may have been a bit reserved when you were younger, maybe a bit cautious, but this is a week when you can just feel the energy of the heavens supporting you. But you need to seize the moment because with Jupiter, particularly, if there is someone you like, the fifth house can be about romance, where the Sun, Mercury, and the new moon are. But if there's someone you like, you can't be passive about it. Jupiter works best when we take action, not when we wait for life to come to us. But also towards the end of this week, Venus, the planet of relating, links back to Mars, the planet of passion. Now, that is in a more sheltered location, which could be making you a bit reticent. But I think that they're going to come into an exact sextile next week, which I'll tell you about next time. But then Mercury, as the week draws to a close, does move to join Uranus in that sixth house. But whatever creativity you generate this week, or whatever um, fun you have, however much you meet up and socialize with people, there could be right at the end of the week just a little bit of a reminder that you do need to get your mind back onto practicalities. But that doesn't mean to say that you can't come up with some brilliant ideas as you do. I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy: work, relationships, and finances. Now, if you've yet to watch your Uranus cazimi 78-year, 1 year forecast, so it's the first time in Gemini there's been a Uranus cazimi, that video, please see that on the screen. If you've yet to watch your monthly forecast for May, that's on the screen as well. You can now buy your personal horoscopes and get three for the price of one. So that's three for one. The one you pay for is your life roadmap report, which helps us to understand the patterns that have played out in our lives so far, get a more intimate understanding of them, and work with those energies future forwards in a more effective way. But free, you get your 12 months transits based on your unique birth data and also your draconic soul analysis, which has a different way of looking at astrology through the eyes of the North Node. So very much about fates. So three for the price of one. I've been doing this full time for 30 years, been interested in astrology since I was 14, and I want to share the power of natal astrology with more people. So please see below for that. Now, if you've yet to sign up for your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning, please do so now and get your early day cosmic pit stop. And if you'd like to work with me one-to-one, please see my testimonial below. But to summarize around those four areas. So as far as energy is concerned, Saturn does continue in that fourth house. So the bigger theme over the next 2 years is working on understanding your emotional responses better, and also your history, but also the history of those people around you. And the more you invest in that, the more your energy generally will improve. But right at the start of this week, Uranus is linked to the moon in a square, could make you feel a bit agitated by something. It could be quite trivial, but it just may put you a little on edge. Now, as far as work is concerned, I think it depends on where you are at the present time, but I think your job does need to have a creative component. If you're doing something where you can connect to people and have pleasure, that job and the connections you have could be particularly lucky this week. When it comes to your romantic situation, there's rarely been a better week. But what about if you're going through a really difficult time in a long-term relationship? That can sound rather trite and a bit frivolous, and I don't mean it to be like that. So it does depend on your exact circumstances. But if you are available to meet with someone new, an excellent week. If you're working your way through a situation which is tender at the moment, the more you can understand your emotional responses, the better. But Jupiter in the seventh house also suggests the more that you can invest a degree of goodwill and belief that maybe other people aren't always conspiring to do us harm, that can actually take some of the politics out of the situation. And when it comes to neat finance, well, you have Pluto in that second house of everyday money, but the energy in the sign of Taurus, which is very much the sign of money, is in your fifth house of speculation. Now, you may be someone who's very risk averse, but if you just look at the assets you've got, whether it's in terms of your raw talent, your property, or the money you have, there is going to be a way of using them in a better way if you really go for it and believe that it can be better. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Have a great week and look forward to seeing you again soon.